We've got tips and recipes for healthy living. So for fun and inspiration, come and join us in the raw food world.
Welcome, this is Matt Monarch, and today's video is for the raw food leaders of the raw foods movement. And over the last 2 weeks, our YouTube channel has gone completely viral. And there's been a lot of questions of people wondering how this has happened. And in this video today, I'm going to explain why I believe in how and why this has occurred. Also, for the raw food leaders, I have an offering for you and also a request. So before we get into why I feel this has all happened to our YouTube channel, I'd like to give a brief overview of our history here at the Raw Food World TV show. When Angela and I first met, we both had YouTube accounts. They were created probably in 2006. And we were doing videos together, and it was a lot of fun. And it wasn't until 2008 where we developed the Raw Food World TV show. We created a new TV show. And I went extreme with this. We started doing this every single day. I was on the road. We've done thousands of talks. And I would meet all sorts of people who have healed from all sorts of diseases, and I would do videos with them. And on YouTube, I would post it with keywords, this person healed from this with raw food, and I would just like hit every disease keyword you can possibly imagine. And what happened a few years later, after creating this YouTube channel, YouTube eliminated us. And I'm not 100% sure why, but I believe it was because I was going in this day and age, it might not be the smartest thing to do to like push this type of stuff in this type of way. And at the time, Angela and I had built up to over 100,000 subscribers on the Raw Food World TV show. And what we did was we contacted the legal department of YouTube with our lawyers, and they let us come back on. I edited all the TV channel, all the different things, and we were a little bit more respectful to the pharmaceutical industry in a way of not making claims and things like this. And we've been fine ever since. However, at that time, over 100,000 subscribers got reset back to zero when we got back on. They just reset it. And it was very upsetting to us. But, so since then, that hasn't been like a focus for us. It was just like, whatever. So we built up to 15,000. This happened like a year and a half ago when we lost our YouTube channel and it came back. And we've built up about 15,000 subscribers since then. And over the last 2 weeks, since our YouTube channel has gone viral, the amount of subscribers we had went from 15,000 to over 30,000. It just doubled. Additionally, we're getting a couple thousand, 1,000 to 2,000 new subscribers every single day right now. It's quite amazing. You could check it out. And most importantly, from this big hit that we've received, is our email newsletter list has grown exponentially, which I'm extremely happy about. And over the last 2 weeks, we've been extremely busy. For example, I personally have probably deleted over 5,000 comments from all of these different videos. There was a lot of profanity, people talking poop about us. There were a lot of accusations headed towards us on why we went viral and things like this. And I even went as far to eliminate certain comments like, "Oh, you're awesome," just like two-worded comments, just to keep the longer ones in there and keep it more clean. We've been dealing with lots of emails. I've gotten mass requests to do interviews, and actually in the near future, probably 6 to 8 months, I'm personally going to come back to the United States and start doing lecture tours all around the world again. But I'm going to talk about our exciting future. There's a lot of things happening here at the Raw Food World towards the end of this video. So we've taken this all to an entire new level. And how did this happen? Well, as many of you know, I'm a pretty huge risk taker, and I do a lot of researching of different marketing methods. And over the last years, we literally bring in, just from our business alone, on how we do our marketing, 20,000 people minimum to our newsletter list into the raw foods movement on a monthly basis. And so what I do is, for about 8 months to a year, I like to build up a marketing budget. And probably like once or twice a year, we take a huge risk in trying to, we spend a lot of money on a marketing experiment to try to bring in a mass of people. We try to hit it big, to bring people into the raw foods movement and to change the world at the same time. And generally these things, they break even, or we lose money, or they don't do too well, but it's always worth that risk. This is how to make something, to make it big from my perspective. And so what we recently did was we did this new marketing experiment that was really expensive, and the chances of it working are pretty slim, but this time it actually just blew up. And this is why we went viral from my perspective. And why do I feel like it worked this time? I mean, if we would have used a different technique or talked about something else or different headlines, then it probably wouldn't have worked. So what we did was we do a bunch of marketing split tests, and here's kind of like what we were doing, just like the headlines of everything. 15-year raw food pioneer comes out with why cooked food is better. And then another one was 15-year raw food pioneer comes out with why the serious dangers of a raw food diet. And then also 15-year raw food pioneer comes out with why to forget raw food. And then we would use different images with each split test just to see, but everything worked really well. Some things worked a little bit better, but it created a viral response, which then got shared and all this other stuff. And the reason why I feel like this happened was because I was genuine. I dropped my belief system. I tried to break the raw food stereotype of being closed-minded and my way is the only way and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I opened up to these people, trying to help people. If you've been watching my recent videos, then you know that I've made a lot of changes. I've completely dropped my belief system. I admit now that my way is not the only way. I'm open to all perspectives. In the raw foods movement, out of the raw foods movement, many different things work for many different people. And I'm totally open to being wrong about the things I've talked about. For example, I am now open to the fact that a person doesn't need to do colon hydrotherapy on a raw food diet when they do it, when in the past I have stated this. I'm open that it's not even necessary. I'm open to the possibility that vegetable juice isn't even needed on a raw food diet. I'm open to the possibility that it can cause issues. I'm just more open. I'm open to the perspective of eating lots and lots of calories on a raw food diet. Everything works differently for other people. Green smoothies, I mean, whatever. I'm even open to whole foods diet like I've been talking about. I'm open to cooked food eaters and things like this. And the list goes on and on and on. And over the last 15 years, I have witnessed the raw foods movement grow exponentially. It was a steady, and there was this huge spike. And right about now, it's starting to plateau again. It's still going up a little bit, but it's not the huge spike it used to be. It's plateauing. And why is this? This is where I'm going to start. This is where I'm trying to unite the raw food leaders, and we're going to discuss this in a minute. But why is this? There's this stereotype of the raw food eater. And what happens is, it's like this in and out concept. What happens is, if you or I or somebody else brings a new person into the raw foods movement, they come in and then they witness everything that's going on here. There's all these egos, my way is the only way, cooked food is no good, this is the only possible way, blah, 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 blah. People fighting with each other, criticizing, this person's doing this person's doing that. And they see all this, and a very low percentage, although it looks like there's so many people coming in and looking that it looks like we're growing and we're getting a lot of people, but so many others are just churning the other way. And this is why these videos have done well. Look, this is not about me. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about the views or the subscribers. This means nothing to me. I've got a beautiful wife. I've got a beautiful daughter. I have everything that I possibly need. My goal, my mission, is to bring people into the raw foods movement and keep them here. And what this does is it changes the world, and then we greatly benefit on a spiritual level by helping people. This is my mission. And so what I feel that us leaders need to do is unite and be more gentle, drop our belief systems, be open to other perspectives, be open to cooked food. I mean, here I am dropping my belief system. If somebody is into high calories or into this type of thing, I'm going to send them to people that are like either, you know, there's Christina Bukaram or there's the 80-10-10ers. I'll send them there. I might be like, I'm not into this type of method. This is what I do. But if they're adamant about it, then okay, go on. I'm not going to go criticizing everybody. And if this is the type of attitude we can take. For example, if someone comes up to you and is like, I'm into colonics and I've experimented with them and I feel so good and I don't want to stop, and you could just send them to me. Or if somebody's into superfoods and, you know, eating superfoods from a plastic bag, I mean, maybe there is something to this high nutrition density in there. I mean, even if your belief system doesn't have that, you know, and these people are adamant about it, you could tell them, like, I don't really believe in that, and, like, maybe try to sway them. And if they're just, like, adamant about it, send them to David Wolf or myself, who's into this type of thing. Instead of, so what I feel we need to do is unite. And 99% of the people on the planet eat cooked food. 80% of Americans, more than 80% of Americans, eat animal protein. Now, if we don't open I'm not saying that you be open to animal protein or anything like this, but if we don't respect and open up to the idea of people eating cooked food, 99% of the people on the planet, and there are healthy cooked food eaters, if we can't just open our perspective, we're restricting ourselves. 99% of the human population eats cooked food. So if you're like, no, I can't, like, instead of like having the people that look up to you totally trashing someone or scaring people away, it's just, these are the type of little tweaks that I feel need to happen to unite the raw foods movement and have it grow exponentially. Probably most of your family members are family members, and your old school friends are eating animal protein or eating cooked food. I mean, we want to see them flourish. I mean, this is the majority of the human population. Okay, enough of that. Me personally, what my forte is doing is bringing people into the raw foods movement. This is what I do. This is what I'm great at. And a lot of you also bring people in, and this is great. And also what you're really good at is keeping people in, supporting them, making them successful, giving them inspiration. All of the new YouTube video leaders here, raw food. And this is something that I'm not necessarily the best at. And this is where I want your help. In the past, I used to do all sorts of things by trying to send these types of people to you. For example, I used to, in my newsletter, I would send out to hundreds of thousands of people, which is hundreds of thousands of even more people now. Shining the Spotlight was the name of this thing, where I would take a raw food leader as yourself, and I would talk about all the benefits and how good they are, and here's their leaders, join their newsletter list, go to their YouTube channel, and things like this. Also, I started doing interviews with everybody. I was doing interviews, trying to get people, I'm trying to show people, all these people that I bring in, I'm sending them out to everybody to where they could be and be helped. But then I began to realize this great divide and this in and out concept. They come in and then they leave. So I've kind of just stopped all this. And I'm not necessarily the best at this type of thing of keeping people. So I'm asking to the raw food leaders to just be open to these ideas that I'm discussing today. And if you could even just try and be on board with this, I will open my resources to you. I will interview you a couple times a year. I'll do write-ups on you. and I ask for nothing in return. You're helping me. But my goal here is to grow the raw foods movement. And what we've got to do, I feel, is unite. This is going to be a sour spot for a lot of people. David Wolf just came out with this new little blender contraption. And I'm sure many of you guys, the YouTube leaders, have gotten, like myself, have gotten comments. I just got this NutriBullet and I'm ready to go, excited, and this is in your YouTube comment, and I've seen this before. This is like a celebration. This person was brought in, most likely by David Wolf, and it gives us an opportunity. Instead of like, you know, trashing this type of thing, it's like, it's beneficial to the raw foods movement. Massive amounts of people are bringing in through this venture. And it's the same thing that's happening right now with our YouTube channel. So when we bring in, all of us, more people, we need to be united or our efforts are futile. Have you seen, have you looked at the comments on that video that I did, why cooked food is better than raw food? I mean, first off, if I didn't think the 100% raw food diet was the best diet in the world, I wouldn't be on it. The reason why I did that was to bring more people to you, to us, and grow the raw foods movement. If you've seen the comments on there, not the raw food eaters disputing me, but people appreciated it. They appreciated a raw food eater being open to their ways. They don't want to be 100% raw. They don't want to be extreme. They want to be balanced. This is what I'm saying. You could be balanced on raw food. I'm not getting into a debate here. I just feel that it's really important that us raw food leaders, we're open to other perspectives. For example, if somebody's into a way of some perspective you don't believe in, we don't necessarily have to trash the leader saying they don't look good or something like this. Their way is obviously wrong. It's just like, okay, if that is what you want, then you go there. This is what we do. That's what they do. So that's the camp that maybe you should go to. So I feel that we need to be open to all perspectives. For example, the 80-10-10ers, they pretty much don't like anything I do and they criticize everything that I do, which is fine. I'm okay with that. However, I really, really like these guys. And let me tell you why. I'm in Vilcabamba of all places, and there's these young guys, they're not 100% raw, but they're into whole foods. They try to do raw, they think they're raw, you know, that type of thing. And they're like, oh, I just think that, you know, Durian Rider and all these, you know, these guys in the 80-10-10 are so cool, and these guys are they're so inspired by them. And the 80-10-10ers are playing a very important role, and they're helping a lot of people here. It's great. And me personally, when somebody does not jive with what I jive, and I could sense that I'm going to send them to these guys. And there are so many different camps here in the raw food world and different perspectives, and they're all so beautiful. For example, just the total opposite, we've got Daniel Vitalis, who's, you know, into the wild aspects and animal protein, and, you know, we could send people there that are not into this, but are into maybe paleo or something like that, and say, hey, this guy might be for you, or maybe even myself, because I talk to people on their level and I want to help them out. And there's all sorts of people. Paul Neeson, he is actually doing profound work. He is into the religious sector and bringing people in to the raw foods movement through that. And when he does that, they go to your videos too. And we don't want this great divide there. There's Penny Shelton, who is excellent helping women out. That's like a whole other sector. I'm sending people her way all the time. I want to be sending newsletter blasts about everybody. There's Christina Bukaram, who I just send everybody to, the raw food hotshot, who is just awesome. And then, you know, there's all sorts of people. Like, if there's ever somebody, if I could sense that there's a girl who wants to be looking at a good-looking guy all the time, like for an hour a week, I'll just be like, okay, Dan Mann's your guy. And this is the type of people I would send to Dan, the Life Regenerator, who he's not necessarily into what I talk about, and he's not necessarily 100% into what the 80-10-10ers talk about, but he's kind of like, it seems what I'm getting is he's like in between. He's like into the fasting, not into the colon hydrotherapy, but not into major calorie. It's like I can sense who goes there and stuff like that. There's Marcus Rothkrantz, who is probably the world's greatest wild food scientist in the world. I'm sending people here. I could sense like personality traits, and I send people there or there, whatever. And this is what we should be doing. And then there's Dara Dubinet, who is into the raw food recipes and other raw food chefs. And then, of course, there's John Kohler, who's like hardcore extreme. He'll go and take kelp noodles and say, this is not the same, and go straight to the ocean and grabs kelp out of the water and shows the difference. And he's brought in thousands of people through raw food appliances and all sorts of things. He's just like on a hardcore mission getting the word out, doing videos every single day. And I'll send the people that go there, that are like totally hardcore, I'm 99.9%, just go there. And then there's people into weight loss, like my wife or Philip McCluskey. And then there's the raw model, Anthony Anderson, who's into growing food. If somebody's totally into growing their own food, I just send them there. And this is like the uniting that should take place. Instead of like, okay, 50 people come into the raw foods movement, and you're just like, you get one of those people and everybody else leaves. Wouldn't it be nice if you got 5, someone else got 5, or someone else got 5, or there's like a sharing and stuff like this? And then there's other sectors such as raw food chefs. There's Annie Fio, Jennifer Kornbleet, Matthew Kenny. The list just goes on and on. There's raw food restaurants and things like this. So, all of us are inspiring a core group of people. And if we can unite and just drop our belief systems, drop the ego, be open to all this sort of thing, appreciate each other, embrace each other, and, you know, then the raw foods community can flourish. And I'm not expecting this video to go anywhere. It's just an effort, just one attempt, and I'll continue to work at it or whatever. But if you guys are on board, I'm talking like, we're talking Paul Neeson, Daniel Vitalis, Freely, Durian Rider, Dan the Man, the Life Regenerator, Christine Bukaram, Raw Food Trucker, forgot to mention him earlier. There's all sorts of people, John Kohler, Marcus Rothkrantz, all the YouTube guys, even the old school people. If you guys are just open to this idea, which I'm hoping, post a comment below. And we can start, and what I will do, this is my offering, I will use all my resources, not asking for anything in return, to promote you. I want to bring people in and send them to you. I want to empower the raw foods community. I'm not the best at this. Let's do this. Let's unite. So that's my message today. And we'll see how it goes. And I was going to start talking about all sorts of fun stuff that we're doing in the future. Me and Angela, we're starting to assist tribal, indigenous communities. We're bringing in new superfoods that have never been seen before and more high-quality things. And we're starting charity stuff and things like this. But we'll talk about this in a future video. This is Matt Monarch. Hoping the raw food leaders will post below, and we'll see you next time at the Raw Food World TV show.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at the Raw Food World.